brilliant.
Look at the camera, they're ready to rumble.
I recommend it.
I collect so much stuff in these years that I've been in Australia. And yeah, it's crazy to go through all this stuff and dresses and little things, little gifts that I collect, the people that I met.
It's surprising how much stuff you collect over like a few years, you know? Like, because I guess, especially if you've got a car, you just put it in your car and then
Oh yeah.
just put it somewhere in the house and forget about it.
Yes. What about your weekend?
I crashed my drone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pretty.
How it happened?
So I went on a motorbike ride with some friends and we wanted to get some shots, and one of them was like wheeling and he was doing some really cool stuff. So I got a bit carried away because the shots looked cool, and then I was flying overhead looking down and like following him, and it looked really cool. It was like Grand Theft Auto sort of thing. And then I saw there was suddenly like an alert, and there was like telephone wires, and like where I was, it was just out of my line of sight. So it was actually, I shouldn't be doing that. But it went off and I saw the chaos, so I was just like, okay, stop. And then what you're supposed to do in that situation, stop, and then you kind of go up to give yourself more space. There was a tree above me. I was super high, but there was somehow a tree above me, hits a tree and then just, ow, commit suicide. And then someone like just ran it over, but I think they just hit the props. And then they come over and says, "What are you doing, man?" All really angry at me. I wasn't even paying attention to him because I was like, oh no, that's expensive.
Yeah, but it's dangerous, you know. Imagine having something in front of your car.
Oh yeah. He was in his full right to be annoyed, but I mean, like, do you know what the funniest thing was? There was no one on the roads. And then this car comes out of nowhere. Like, I haven't seen a car for like 10 minutes, and then suddenly the car is like right where I don't need him to be. So even on the footage as it lands, I see it land, and it's like twitching.
It's
and
the
then
Murphy law. It's the Murphy law, you know.
What do you call it? The Murphy law.
Yeah.
In England we say sod's law. Yeah, there you go. And something that I've sort of explored recently as a view, and I think it's something that's quite relevant nowadays, is stress. And sort of, especially this past year, I've learned a lot about stress, and I've always been into stressful situations. Not that I'm into stressful situations, but I kind of like testing myself. And like I'm quite into like the hardcore Dutch electronic music. And for me, I listen to that and it gets me in like a pace. And I like editing and stuff to that, but I think a lot of people find it stressful because it's quite loud and like do 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 do. And I didn't realize till sort of more recently where I would be working on a film shoot, editing, and then listening to this music. So I'm like making it more and more stressful for myself than it needs to be. And like for me, it's just like, okay, cool, whatever. But I don't know, I think different people react differently to different stressful situations, right?
Yes. For me, stress, like how we perceive stress, I realize on myself that work is mostly stress, like is stress. And then when you go out of that environment, there is like in our brain is more like you have to release the stress. So you're going drinking, you're going spa, you're going doing something and trying to release those stress. Oh, I'm being stressed the whole week.
You need a glass of wine or
yeah,
something.
you need a glass of wine, you need that, you need this. And that's why we seek something. But also, I remember like 3 years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was working in an office as a graphic designer and everything, and my hour time weren't as my shift time. Like they were taking over like 1 or 2 or 3 hours sometimes over my time.
Oh, like, so were you paid for that time? So was it overtime?
Yes and no. Like they were give it to me as a holiday
I
hours,
hate that.
you know.
I hate that. Just give me the money. Like if I work the hours, give me the hard cash.
And I remember I was start living this circle of okay, working hard. So stressed, like being stressed and overstressed most of the time. And I remember going out and wanted to forget my name, forget who I am, and
Live for the weekend.
yeah, I lived for the weekend, live for those, excess situation, parties, and all this stuff. And then I stopped and I said, this is unhealthy in one side and also the other. I just needed to calm everything down
And then you're even
and
more tired.
process those stress. And also listen to that stress, listen and understand that like between those two scenarios, there is my life, you know. How can I live in that way over and over and over and feel my heart beating and then releasing too quickly, too soon? I kind of had to hold myself in that like stress and then listen to it. And I think it's not all like it's not about giving up the work, because I loved it to be focused, to have kind of that stress of like I have to send this project soon, like I have to make it done. That
Yeah.
was exciting for me.
And I also feel like when people don't have that like deadline to work towards, you put things off for ages. You just don't do what you're supposed to be doing, especially when deadlines are too long as well. I find that if I got like months to do a project, it's like, where's the motivation to do it?
Yeah, it is also another thing, like because now I'm working also for my book and also for my website, and it's something personal, and working for myself is another game. Like it's
Fun,
fun.
Way more fun.
It's fun, but as a graphic designer, where I had to kind of be, how do they call it? That animal they change the color.
A chameleon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
You've
to
got the
be
eyes
like
as well. Hey.
Bam. I had to be like a kind of a chameleon to understand my clients, trying to in tune myself and not make my judgment or my point of view into that work, but listen to what they want and give the good,
Yeah, you got to be
package.
neutral, but then at the same time, you still got to put like yourself into it because that's why they've come to you, right?
Yeah, of course, but you have to like for you is like as a video maker, you have to use some lines or some ideas from the clients, but it is very much about you, like your way of like seeing.
It's literally my vision is the camera,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah, which is different for me as a graphic designer, and I have to create an image for a brand, like or image for a company. They have already the philosophy, the character inside. I have to listen to it,
They have their guidelines.
Exactly. I have to really understand and show all the stuff in it. So which is a bit different as a creative process.
Yeah, and kind of with stress, I guess, one thing I think we talked about it before, but like creativity and stress don't work well together generally because you kind of need the freedom to explore ideas and stuff.
Flow.
Yeah, to flow, exactly, and to get into that flow state. And sometimes you just don't feel it, But yeah, I think it's important. Like stress is something that if our bodies are constantly stressed, then they're not working as they should because you're in like a fight or flight mode. And your cells aren't healing the way they should because they're doing the most extreme things they can to heal your body as quick as possible without doing the little fine tuning that your body needs to function. And I think, especially with the past couple of years and all the events and things that have happened, we're constantly in a state of stress. You know, fear, stress is like pretty similar. And I think for us, it's not healthy. You know, you see a lot of mental health problems, but also like physical problems with people, like obesity. You know, why are so many people obese? The food, obviously, a lot of the food, the cheap food that is available is like fatty foods. You know, it's like.
But also in that state of stress that we globally went through, like as you describe it, like a lot of mental difficulties and illnesses coming up, but also that stress put a lot of people to decide what they really wanted.
Yeah, it gave them the little push.
Yeah, like a lot of my friends, like half of them, they break up, divorce, or whatever. They like just change completely their life at work, relationship, and everything. And on the other side, they got married, had kids, and like
Committed.
buy a house, committed properly. There were not gray space. They were like very much that's fight or fly, you know.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are afraid to make the decisions they need to make as well. So they kind of put it off with like partying and stuff. You know, like you talked about like, going out, you eating at restaurants and you're doing this with your friends and this and this and this. But you put off the important decisions that you have to make in life. And
on the side,
and it's only when something like really forces us, like the pandemic or something, to, you know, like I remember a few times when I was in Vietnam and like I was with some friends, and when I got that like gut feeling of like something's not right, you need to make a big decision now. And that was, for me, it was to come to Australia instead of going back home because I sold all my stuff. You know, I didn't want to be back in England for the pandemic, so I like made the decision. I came here and I had this real like knot in my stomach the whole time. And luckily enough, one of my best mates, like he made the same decision, so we got to come here and explore together, which was incredible. But it was that kick, that push, that something's not right. I'm trusting my body here because my body's sensing something before my head. Like my head was just like, oh, I'm having a good time. This is great. You could see around you things were changing, but my body was what warned me. And I'm glad I listened to it because for me, it was the best place to be for the pandemic. And yeah, I think it's good sometimes when things out of our control help guide us.
Push us. And then that's why I think it's important to really listen to it and sit down with it, with that discomfort.
Yeah, like what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, it's shaking in a way. You can't really see which way you have to go. So you just sit down and listen to it.
How do you make decisions? For you, like when you got to make a big decision, what do you do?
I have so many ways. It depends on
you
period.
Get your tarot cards out, right? And like let fate decide for you, right?
Depends on which period of my month I am. Sometimes I eat a lot. So
I'm stressed. I'm gonna eat. So now we get back to obesity, right? Like, I'm sorry. But there you go. You know, that's some people's reaction. You know.
Exactly.
So
and then I
get into the
I catch myself.
Oh my god, I've eaten like 4 chocolate bars. Like, what am I doing? It's like, fuck, there's wrappers everywhere. Something's just not right. You know, my fridge is empty.
Yes, basically.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, depends. Like, depends which period, but I feel like I'm very in my stage. I'm very quiet. So yes, sometimes I eat and I like I see myself that I eat and thinking. So it's very much this way. And then, and trying to write down my thoughts, even though they are confused or might have a lot of things together. So I just, if I have it down on paper, I can right now like see how they move, how I feel about it, just looking in front of my eyes, and then talking with my friends and family, having different opinion. Not that I ended up following their opinion, like never, but having different possibility, different point of view helped me to get through my whole process. So is
Just gonna sort this mic out. There we go.
yeah, so this is really cool, and depends. Like sometimes I draw, sometimes even drawing, not really want to draw something cool for the sake of it. It's just like drawing something on paper. Maybe it's just nothing, but kind of get to myself in the flow. I have to kind of go to the flow. And like mantras for me is really cool. Like listen to music that repeats kind of itself.
Like wakes your brain up kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I felt like singing the same kind of beat over and over and over, kind of show like my brain is working in somehow, my subconscious probably, working in a different direction, and it's kind of showing up in like in the middle of nowhere. And I just felt that my brain and my heart are connected, because before they were like dislocated, and my brain going different direction, and my heart is like, you have to do this or that. So they kind of connect with each other. So I see them that this is the right decision.
Got to work together.
Yeah. I feel like they have to kind of work together. What about you?
How do I deal with stress? I used to deal with it by going to the gym or go for a run or do something physical, because you release that energy, you know, but then you don't really deal with the issue. I didn't find it helped me deal. It just calmed me down. It didn't help me deal with things. Like listening to the body, kind of seeing what the body wants to tell the mind, like why do we, like questioning, why do I feel a certain way? Like what's going on that's making me feel like the anxiety or anger or this emotion, and just trying to understand it. Which has taken a while to get, because I think for me, I'm quite reactive. So if something happens, I get straight away into that feeling, that emotion. And then for me, I have to like rein it back and like center myself and kind of like slow down. And like meditation is a big one. Like I didn't realize, I started doing obviously like breathing work and that, just when I get too many thoughts, too much noise is going on, too many decisions need to be made, too much, and I get very high in my head, you know, there's too much emotion. And for me, that tells me that's time to meditate. Like I don't do it every day, and I should, because I know, and I have been doing more recently, but I notice the difference after. And just the meditation slows things down. It gives me time to like think about what's going on. But the breath work particularly, I started doing like breathe in and then breathe out. And I breathed out literally all the air in my body, exhale. And to the point, I would hold it to the point I felt like the panic of like, oh, you have no air. And I'd just hold that panic.
So you hold your breath.
Yeah, hold my, no. So I breathe in, breathe out, but then on the breathe out, then hold so you have no air in your body, and just hold that until it started panicking, and just hold it for a bit. You know, just hold that panic for a bit, and then you take in the air. You know, and then more recently, like through speaking with people and stuff, and sort of hearing about it online, I realized it's a little bit similar to the Wim Hof, like except he does a lot more more intense, and he holds it much longer. And I found whatever thoughts I've got, like, is overridden by the panic of needing the air. You know, so you have no air in your body, you're panicking, and then that first breath in after like holding your breath for a minute or a minute and a half is amazing. You know, you kind of feel your body wake back up. And yeah, like after doing that, like 2 or 3 sessions of that, like my brain is clear. I feel like I've got the thoughts gone, decisions that need to be made is much more straightforward.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're talking about this, because I tried to do it because a friend of mine suggested me like 1 year ago or something. And then I was lucky enough to live in Perth in this amazing house with a sauna.
Oh yeah.
And the swimming pool, like outside swimming pool, but was surrounded by the house, like the building. So we had like this private space, like basically most of the time on my own. And I remember I was in winter in Perth, not like crazy winter in Australia.
Pretty good winter, eh?
Yeah, it's very like autumn. So, but was a bit chill. And I remember like spend hours in the sauna, like hours in the sense that I spent like 20 minutes inside the sauna. In the beginning it was a bit hard because I spent like 5-10 minutes and then jump in the pool. And then outside is getting like winter, it's cold, windy. So I kept myself inside the sauna as long as possible. And every time it was longer than the beginning. And I remember like breathing, listen to my whole body, like sweating, and breathe slow and long breathings. And then jump in the swimming pool was like kind of a lot of scratch on my body, like they trying
Pins and needles.
Yeah, kind of that feeling, and was awesome because I felt in my whole spine was
Woke you up.
yeah, exactly. So in a good, like, in a way, I think we have tools to kind of understand stress and how to hold it and use it kind of as an ecstasy. You know, as something really powerful in there, in between comfort and stress, like that tension. I think, yeah.
100%.
We use that also in sexuality. You know, when you have a situation going on, and then you use kind of that. You trying to you hold it, but also you going very close to hurting in a way, like the stress, the tension.
Blue balls.
The blue ball.
L'écrit bleu. Yeah.
But it's good. It's like.
But it's so much better afterwards, right? Like.
No.
No. But when you hold your breath, that first big breath you take feels amazing, and it's the same. You know, if you hold something, or like delayed gratification, right? And this is something nowadays. Like. Everything's instant. You can get any food you want right now. You know, anything you want in this life, as long as you got even if you don't have the money, you can get like a credit line or whatever, you know, and you can go buy anything you want to buy now. We don't have to work for anything. And like, I think this takes away a big part of the satisfaction, and a big part of, you know, you spent 4 months saving for something. and then you buy this thing that you've been waiting to buy, and then you really appreciate it, you know. And I think
it's not the goal itself, you know, it's the life that you live before that. It's not the gratification, is how that I made it work. You know, a lot of our friends, they're creative, or, you know, they work in different dimension, and they really like to make things, or, you know, be kind of stressed about it, you know, how this doesn't work, how can I find a solution, like it's the whole journey to get there.
well, it's a
But
challenge.
it's not there.
It's
Like
the
now,
challenge as well.
because we already stepped over, we're not enjoying, you know, receiving that gift. For example, every day is Christmas. Happy Christmas. It's every day is Christmas. Like you can eat chocolate every day. When I was young, I was eating chocolate just once every 2 months or something. Like it was
a treat.
quite rare.
Yeah, I think everything's too accessible in a way. Like we've lost the challenge, and I think this for me is why, like, we talk about the ceremony, and for me, the realization of like this isn't supposed to be easy, and then going through the emotions of like the struggle, the first like, because I think people use psychedelics and stuff however they want to use it, but I think the indigenous people have been using it the right way, obviously, for millennium, you know, like, and I think the way we're supposed to use it is it takes you on a journey, right? It takes you on this like journey, and it can be good or it can be bad. And I think for me personally, the bad journeys are the best in that you learn the most from them. You know, it's like, it's difficult. You have to stick with it. And it's when you're on Aya, you know, you feel like you want to be sick. You know, you feel like you've got a shit. You feel like you want to burp, or your skin's on fire, or whatever.
You want to vomit.
Yeah, and it's just this like for me, it was like holding this thing in
But
me.
also releasing it a little bit, you know? Because as you told me the first time, for you was like, oh, not, you didn't feel enough, you didn't see enough.
It wasn't that. I think it was my issue with like control, and the fact it was kind of taking me out of my control. Like my body and my mind was reacting in a way. It was like, I don't like this, make it stop. But then obviously I knew what was going on, but I didn't quite grasp that if I stuck with it, then like the feeling I got the second time was insane. Like the power.
But you changed a lot. Like the first time you were very in control. Oh, this is not, has to be like this. And kind of, I think as you describe it, you're like control and push it down and like close the door basically. And
you're trying to.
Yeah, you're trying to.
But I think you can't. And I think in trying to, you're like, I'm going to go insane. This is going to make me go insane. And I felt like I closed off into this little ball, and I just wanted it to end, basically. I was like, fuck this.
That's why I think this time really understand how be in kind of with discomfort. Like listen to with what is this discomfort? How that describe it to myself? How can I feel it but not vomit?
Or even if you want to, just hold it.
Yeah.
Just try and, like, for me, it was like a fight. It was like this, like, I don't like this, but I'm going to stick with it, you know? And it was the fight. But then after a little while, it became not just a fight, but it was like a game. And I saw everyone around me in the ceremony, and I saw everyone, like the person next to me was like vibrating. I could see they were shaking. And I understood why. I was like, he's fighting this as well. And then I looked around, and it was dark, so you can't really see people, but everybody's having their own battle. You know, whatever's going on, some people are very happy. You know, they're having a great time, but other people, you know, you can see that they're struggling, but in the struggle, like my body was like shutting off. Like I was there, and my body was literally like, I would get so much information coming at me, my body would just like shut off, and then I'd sort of come back, and then the information would come, and it's like this constant. Yeah, it was crazy, but
On and off.
on and off.
Yeah.
But the feeling, like the power I felt when I was like, no, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna best this, you know? And no, for me, like I got this like fire in my chest that I've never had that feeling before, ever. You know, like I've had like fights and stuff and jiu-jitsu and a few things, and like, yeah, you get the adrenaline and stuff, but it's very short-lived. This lasted till the next day. This like feeling of like fire. I don't know, it was incredible. Like it was amazing.
Can you describe it more? Like,
Well, for me, it was like, I always thought of, and I said this as well the other day, like, I always thought like warrior, the idea of a warrior is like someone that's like strong and powerful in a fight or in a war, you know? But at that point, I think I realized, for me, like now I understand, like all the people around me, they may not be as big or physically, you know, like whatever, but and this is where I had the ego death, like the ego death happened, was the realization that, wow, these people are way stronger than me. You know, they'd done like ceremonies and ceremonies, and I could see, and I felt like, I looked around and I felt like really small, but lucky. I was like, holy crap, I'm so lucky to be just near these people. You know, like they're amazing people, and I was so lucky. And then I looked at myself, I was like, I'm so lucky to have this body. You know, like, I can't, it was like everything, like my ego was gone. You know, like it was just like, that meant nothing. And I was just happy to be around everybody. You know, I was just I felt so lucky. Yeah, it was a great feeling. But the fire in the chest, like I felt like, it's weird, like my eyes were like fully open and my body was shaking and tensing. And the only way I could describe it is like, I felt how, I kind of understand the like New Zealanders, the rugby players and stuff. You know how they do their haka at the start, and they're all kind of in sync, and they're all like shouting, and their eyes are wide open, and they're like animals, you know? And like for me at the time, I wanted to just shout. I was like there, like vibrating, and I just wanted to shout, like release the energy. And I held it, and they come over, the shaman come over and started with the sort of fanning me and stuff. But I don't know, I wanted to shout, and the next day he was like, you should have gone outside and just shout, you know, like let it out, you know, because that was me purging. That was me like trying to release the energy. But yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. But then from there, like since, things haven't seemed so big, like tasks or anything that previously I would have, because I'm a bit OCD about things, and like, I struggle to, when things are out of place, it sets me off, you know? But now things seem less important in a good way. You know, it seems like nothing's such a big deal. And we'll go into like more information details, but like, tell me about how was your experience? Because me looking at you as well, I was like, whoa, like I'm impressed by you. Like obviously, like again, like physically I'm stronger than you, but mentally is a whole nother thing, you know? And you see these monks, and they're like doing the mandalas and stuff, and like the willpower, that's warrior, you know? And like you're a very strong woman, and like, I don't know, tell me about your experience.
Was really, really interesting to kind of get to inside my familiar space, because I'm very interested in languages, even though like I know not have many languages that I want to learn, but I know a few.
Just name a few languages so you know.
Italian, Moroccan, a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish, English. So, yeah. not too bad.
I know some Spanish.
But I think, like, in that meditation and in that stage, and having that kind of drop of nature, where it's basically the drop of motherhood, you know, is her essence. And I felt it inside my body has, I don't know, it opened up like my vision of, I can understand animals. I can understand plants. I can connect with stars. I can feel the whole universe vibrating, and they have a different way of communicating. And we speak and we say things out of like awareness, but everything that we say is being kind of recorded and is going somewhere out there, and somebody else is listening to us as well. So that's why, and also I like to research about old communities of people that live very in contact with the planets, and they
Indigenous communities.
yeah, the indigenous communities all around the world, they built different way of living. Not only how they eat or how they dress, it's not about that, but how they create those circle ceremony as well, and how they dance. They kind of showing something, and they always have different kind of colors and mask, and kind of being prepared to sing.
Everything
And they
has a meaning as well.
and also they have songs, different kind of songs, and all these songs are like kind of connected with song of nature, like can be birds, can be whales. Like I had so many kind of feeling that I felt so very connected with everything. And also I felt it like downloading. I like my brain was like opening up, and I felt the whole downloading information just going through myself. And I don't know how to describe the whole thing at once, because it's kind of a process for me to understand all these things.
Just too much information, right?
Just too much information, which is beautiful. But I felt kind of, yeah, like the images and everything is so very connected in those kind of like infinite small fields, like with everything. Like
It's like the Higgs boson thing, right?
I remember when I was young, teenager, I was very obsessed with this book called The Nothingness, and how, and basically describe how to create something from nothing. And I was obsessed about this book because it was beautiful, not as like, oh, you can sell this to somebody. It's more like how, like they were describing geometries and the law of nature in the universe, and the numbers, and you can basically go through that kind of process of understanding those kind of rules of creating something from nothing. So you have those kind of knowledge, so you can really change and be a creator, fully creator. Because I think what we don't understand, and we kind of step very ahead, like, oh, you just fake it until you make it. you know, that it's very common right now. And everybody's just pretending. As soon as they dress with some fancy or
Everyone's
expensive,
acting.
expensive dress or whatever, or acting in a certain way, you're already there in a way. So that is, I think, 0.5%, which is cool to have, but there is all other information that you have to acknowledge first. And you can kind of find a way to grab it from outside into the word, like from inside outside to the word, and then make it work. And you can play with that, but a lot of things is very much on sitting down and listen.
That's how you learn, you know.
Yeah.
Listen to old people, especially. Listen to like your elders and people who have experienced a lot of life, because you're never gonna know as much as them because they're older than you. You know, they've got all those years experience, and I think this is where like the indigenous elders and stuff have so much to offer. We just need to listen.
Yeah, even like it's so crazy that nobody, like in our Western society, European society, never find as much technology that we have and all these things, never found something that powerful to make in laboratory. And they magically, if you believe in magic, because I do believe in magic, like years ago I was doubting about like this magical stuff now is real, is here, is very much here. They listen to nature and nature give it to them. They didn't give it to somebody else. Thank God they didn't give it to some government people. They might have an access, but they're gonna heal themselves at some point, I hope so. But in the beginning, they were given to them, and they also listen as much deeper with nature. They found water, and they also create like towns or way that animal were coming to them instead of hunting.
Yeah, the tribes in the native Indians in America, they would they would have places where the buffaloes would go, and that's where they would hunt them. But outside of those places, they didn't touch the animals, because that's what you got to be careful with the amount of hunting you're doing, because you start culling the populations, you know, and this is where we're at now, where
yeah, it's
so
very
much
much
diversity is gone.
listen to, there is law and power, and you can have access. Like for example, I loved like reading about artists and important people like years ago, and at the time they didn't have enough you know, resources to travel or like to see as many things that we see now, for example. And a lot of artists, they just had they were like painting things, they were like finding another part of the globe, and they never been there.
Also, just like the idea came to them, and then
yeah, they just came to them.
So I fully invest in this idea, and for me, like we'll come back to this, but like with the ceremony, I somehow tapped into the mother, and I had loads of questions, just like question after question after question, and at one point she sort of said to me like, "Hey, just like calm down and enjoy the music and enjoy what's going on now," and I was like, "Oh, okay, like." Sorry, I don't know, it literally, she felt like a mother, you know, he was just like, chill out. You just chill and enjoy the moment. But then so later on, I asked more questions, and I was just like, so if the earth is conscious, right? If the earth is alive and conscious, then surely so is all the other stars. And she's like, yeah. And I said, like Saturn, the moon, yeah, everything. What about galaxies? Yeah, that's all conscious. they are conscious in their own way. What about the universe? And she's like, yeah, now you understand. Everything is conscious. Everything is connected. Everything is talking to one another.
Yeah.
And this to me is
And it's talking, sorry to interrupt you,
in a
but
different way.
yeah, it's talking with sounds, with vibration,
And intuition.
in intuition. So it's responding as you think as an intuition, and we take this for granted, intuition, as something like kind of freaky.
What was the word? It's like synchronicities.
Yeah, yes, but nothing really happened for no reason. But also there is a little space of creativity, but nothing really is out of track,
Yeah.
kind of. But yeah, it's kind of, and also I think a lot of people is, if they don't really break the will of their lives and really step forward or outside of that will, they're gonna repeat living that life.
Cycles.
Yes, that's why, this, no, that, blah blah blah. They like pointing, or a lot of things bad is happening. But if you step outside that will and see, I'm not that. This is not the story that I want. And you just sit down and sit back. You're going through a healing journey, and you really understand that everything we need and we want is already here. It's already here. It's just, they kind of ready. They're there, like sitting down, maybe in somewhere, like in the next room in your mind, if you want to understand, waiting until you calm down and listen, pay
To
attention.
really slow down.
Yeah.
But I found with this, like slowing down and paying attention to everything, like really paying attention, everything's got so much easier. Like everything I do, I enjoy. Everything I do is seamless. Like I'm at work the other day, and it was funny because I met this woman. I was working at a children's hospital, and this woman, we interviewed some doctors and stuff, and then this one particular woman came up, and she had this beautiful smile. She looked really healthy. I think she was nearly 60, but she did not look it at all. And we connect, eye contact, our eyes locked, and there was some kind of like, she knows exactly how this reality works, because she's been there at the hospital for like 20 something years, I think she was saying. And there was something about her that just was different to everyone else. Like, and I think then I could start seeing like the different levels of consciousness, so like who is really aware of everything that's happening around them. And at the end, she sort of like took my hand and was like, have a really nice life, you know?
I remember, like, I think one of my friends, couple of years ago, she told me, oh, you don't understand, or you don't really understand how bad it is.
What did she mean?
About something.
Oh, okay. Like just a situation that happened
yeah,
to
yeah,
her.
just in general. And I was like, kept telling her, like, it's gonna be all right. About, you don't understand how bad is this thing, you know? And I said, I do understand it. I truly, in my heart, understand how bad can be something. And if you don't really pay attention, how much could be, like, you have to understand, could be even worse if you don't really catch yourself right now and really understand and love that thing that you feel that is really bad, and really love yourself, and really trust the process. Trust that you're not alone. Trust that everything you need is already here, just ready for you to open, to release, to showing up. You have to open your eyes.
Yeah. Everything is as it should be. You know, like everything's happening as it's meant to. And this to me as well, it's like, the questions I had for her was like, hang on, so I'm having this conversation with you, like, and I was like, how? And she's like, you don't control the cells or anything happening in your body. You have the ego, the mind, right? The body is you, but the body is also me. And in that, you are never alone, because you can always, if you listen to yourself, you can communicate with yourself, and kind of, if you're unsure of stuff, you can listen to your body and it can guide you in a direction that's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with something. It goes, there's something drawing me this way, or to take this decision, and it's fucking awesome.
I like a little game to do with myself. There is so many, but just a little game to, if you guys want to try at home, is basically, if you can't find something, just ask yourself, can you show me where is this? Like,
Where's my keys?
yeah, for example, where is my keys? So where is, I need a pen. I need a pen. I need a pen. Just repeat it on yourself, and it's just showing up. I remember, like, I was looking for the night mask, and I said, where is the night mask? Where is it? And like, my hand was just going behind the bed. I just grab it.
Grab the perfect spot. Like.
I didn't think
Yeah.
at all. Was insane. Was crazy, and so many times happened that way.
And I just want to mention the synchronicities and stuff. Like, when I started paying attention, I remember you said after the ceremony you had like some vision of whales or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then from there, I had like I had a dream myself about whales, or there was something on TV. Oh no, that was the Avatar, right? Like that,
So,
the whales in
yeah,
Avatar.
you had the dream, and also when you were working at the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, so I had the obviously you had the vision of the whales, and then that night I dreamt of like a blue whale, but it was pink, and it was flying around the sky, and it was like flying and slapping me, and then flying away, and I was getting annoyed, but at the same time I was kind of like laughing, and it was like playing, but like tough playing, and it was coming back and slapping me, and I didn't remember the dream at all. I woke up, and then I had this job at the children's hospital. And then I walk in, it's like towards the end of the day, and there's this little kid who's our actor, and there's some whales on the wall. And the doctor said to the kid, "Oh, go sit under which whale is your favorite." And the kid runs along and goes and sits under the blue whale. And it was at that moment, it clicked to me what my dream was. And I remembered my dream, and I just started laughing. And I was like I was laughing at the humor of the universe. I was like, of course, like, you know, and everyone around me was like, oh, we need to do this. And I just wasn't listening to anybody was saying, because I was just like, of course, you cheeky mare, you know? And then eventually I like pulled it together and stopped laughing, and then was just, right, okay, let's do this. But it was just like, of like that synchronicity of like this thing and this thing and this thing. And it, like if you're paying attention, and then we watched Avatar, and there's a huge whale in that.
Yeah, guys, you have to watch
Avatar is sick.
Avatar.
The new Avatar is so good. Like,
So
I think it's better
beautiful.
than the first one.
I love them both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
it's
are
better,
different.
right? I love them both, but I think the second one's better.
I want to rewatch it, because there is so many like fighting that a little bit stressed myself out. But I think after the meditation, I just wanted to know more. Like, I remember like seeing some scenes in Avatar where they really are kind of what this population, where they've been working with nature for like generations, they have so much knowledge to share. So I kind of want to know more about those kind of secrets, knowledge, how to really connect with nature, not only about doing meditation, but how can we live our day, like more in synchronicity, more in synchron with the moon, the stars, all the planets, and the circles of nature and all this stuff.
Yeah, you just reminded me of during the ceremony when the Circle of Women, when this song came on, and I just had this like revelation of like the universe is conscious.
Can you explain it properly?
Yeah, like the girls and the guys are separate, so the men are on one side, women on the other, and essentially there's a beautiful song. I don't know who sings it really.
Yeah, called The Sisters.
I think it's a Circle of Women or something.
Yeah,
I will put a little description, but yeah, like this song came on and only really the women were singing. It was like their moment, you know, and like the guys, I started to sing. I was like, nah, actually this is their time, you know, like I'm staying out of this. And they were singing and it was this beautiful moment. And then kind of just paying attention to everything, like in the corner of my eye, I saw this light and I was just like, what's that? And I turned around and the full moon was like blasting. Like I'd never seen it so bright. But it was weird at that very moment when you women, because they say the moon is feminine, right?
Yeah.
At that
Full
moment,
moon.
the full moon, at that moment when you were all singing and you had all this power and energy coming from you, the moon caught my attention and was like beaming. And it was like, wow, I feel like there's the connection there, you know? And it was tripping me out because I was just like, this is real. This is real. Like, I've lived my whole life not paying attention. I have, but like not always.
Not taken seriously.
Yeah, not taking it serious because to me it's like it seems a bit too out there. It seems too like I'm English and we're all very cynical about life and that's why we joke about stuff. But yeah, like really, why not? Like think of it as like, okay, what if this is actually the reality?
It's the secret of nature that is like dying and, you know, rebirth and living and growing circles. And of course, if we divide the time, if we just focus on something right now,
And the money.
For example, if you just watch a plant, you cannot really see it growing, you know, in that very moment. But if you just take a picture 1 week before and 1 week after, you just see the difference. It's growing while you're seeing, but you're not seeing it in that very moment because we create like just a frame in our brain.
But even like when you see it go from day to night, right? And if you sit there long enough, and I've done this just at the beach or something, you know, you're having some fun with your mates, whatever, and you see the sunset happen. You know, you see it get darker and the shades change and all this stuff. And it doesn't actually take that long. You know, I think on the equator it's super fast, right? But in Australia, it happens at a pace where if you sit there with it, you know, you can slowly see the change. And it's just relative, right? To the individual. Like if you're buzzing on coffee and like you've got lots to do.
And also working in an office, in a building where
don't
just
see any
neon lights showing that any time is irrelevant. Can you help me? Irrelevant?
Huh? One more time?
In the
Illuminated?
time, no, the time of the day is irrelevant.
Is it relevant, right?
Irrelevant. Okay, sorry.
Irrelevant.
Is irrelevant.
Hey, nice.
So, yeah, like.
Well, there's casinos as well, right? In the casinos, they don't have any natural windows because they don't want you to know time because they just want you to stay in there as long as possible. And it's kind of sick, right? It's kind of like
it's a kind of a jail, like even worse than a jail.
Yeah. Well, I guess, you know, you can get into a flow with anything. Like for me, when editing, I get into this flow where I don't pay attention and time goes really quickly. And I guess if you're enjoying gambling, you know, the time's going quick for you and you're not realizing you've been in there for 6 hours. You've been in there for 10 hours, spending all your money, you know?
Yeah.
If you enjoy something, you get into a flow state. And
yeah, but
that's
even a lot of people that really don't enjoy much, they just try.
it's more like
It's
addiction.
very, yeah, it's very much as addiction.
Yeah.
They don't
But
mix
this
it
is
the
humans.
two.
Like, we seem to be able to get addicted to anything, right? Like, why can't we get addicted to like stuff that's good for us?
I think
Oh,
it-
we can exercise, right? People get addicted to exercise.
I think it's just the ego brain now. I think the brain likes a repetition and synchronicities. I think if a song or mantras, for example, that I really like because put me in a state of hypnosis. So hypnosis, if you're not aware, they can wash your brain properly. Like, and if you have to be, and also you have to be careful what to put inside your brain while you're doing hypnosis. And I
But
think
not just
that's why
hypnosis,
it's,
but like throughout your life, right? Like, if whatever you're looking at, the image is really like powerful, you know, and like whatever you're showing yourself is like being stored in your brain, like all the information.
and
if-
we live in a state of hypnosis so many times. Like nowadays, especially if we do for a very long time, especially in a month, if we do the same things every day for a month, we kind of go in a state of hypnosis.
I thought about this as well, and obviously you come back to reality and you see around you all this, like we talked about symbolism and stuff before, but really like the imagery, like you see the beautiful women on the buses or like in the magazines, and it's like, this is beauty. This is what you should think beauty is. You know, like this slim model, like with whatever color hair and stuff, that's beauty. And even if you're not like really aware of it, it's going into your head. You see it and you're just like, oh, that's hot, you know, that's attractive. And it's like, it's funny because I feel like girls and guys have different interpretations of what beauty is.
But also, even between those two, right now, we don't have just a few. They really understand of beauty because it's not external at all.
No, and that's literally my point, is like the male view, and especially like my view in the past has been like beauty is external. You know, it's the outside. You can see if someone's beautiful, but like from my life, like women have said, "Oh, my friend's so beautiful," like whatever, and you meet the friend and you're just like, okay, but that's because you've not got to know the person, you know. And the beauty isn't just like the external; it's like internally as well. Like, how are they in situations? How are they kind? You know, like, and like I spoke to a guy at the ceremony like afterwards, and he was saying how he used to work in, like, he's a tank, you know, he's a good looking guy in that, but he was working for like some gym, and he said that was the most toxic place he'd ever been, because you got all these very superficially beautiful people that are very competitive with one another. So they're all working at the gym, coming to the gym, everyone's beautiful, but they would spread rumors about one another just to bring other people down and make themselves seem better. And he said the higher he went up and like the nicer the gym, the more expensive the gym, the worse it got. Just this like toxicity within the people just spreading. And that then he moved into like working for people with special needs and that. And to me, like, that guy there, you have to be mentally strong to be able to do a job like this. And those people are beautiful. You know, they are warriors. They are like incredible. Anyone that's doing a job.
And you can see their heart,
Yeah.
you know, fully, how they can take care, you know, how they care so much, how they, their attention, their humbleness.
That's it, being humble, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of beautiful ingredients, and be patient and also loving just a little bit every day, you know, happy in this, happy in that. And it's amazing how you can just understand that it's like water. you know, water dropping a little bit every day. And that water can make a full glass of water and you can drink it, you know, I think is the way of understand the heart language, but also the mother language that is silent, that is not loud. They might have some birds that scream somewhere, but it's very much giving. I can give you this. I can give you apple tree. I can give you a salad. I can give you this. Do you want this? What do you need more? Oh, I can give you this. It's still going. That infinite love of giving is insane. Guys, like we have to really open our eyes of the abundance.
Yeah.
And we still, I think, the media and
it's not just media, it's like religion as well, right? Like I met a guy, obviously I seem to meet so many taxi drivers and have religious conversations for whatever reason, but there's a guy and he was saying to me, like, bear in mind it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, starts telling me about, he says, look at the trees, you know, like the God put fruit on the trees for man. And I said, no, the tree gave the fruit. You know, the tree had the fruit on it already, just like we were here already. You know, it's not for us. We can eat it if we want to, but it's not for us. And he was like, no, you don't understand. Like, you're not religious. And I was like, no, I'm spiritual. Like, I'm one of the earth. You know, like we talked before about like fruit. What's the difference between a man or a woman and a piece of fruit? You know, the fact that we can walk around, that's the only difference, because we have the same, you know, like DNA codes, which are slightly different, but then also they have seeds. You know, they from the death of a fruit or the eating of a fruit, the seeds are released and then they grow.
Become part of ourselves. So we are very much connected of this, that live in circles. And
but who put the fruit there for man? You know, that's the question. It's bullshit. There's no question. You know, it's like if you are entitled to believe in whatever you believe, right? But
is that, but also not. I think therefore, you know, us animal to live, but not only, because if we die and become something else, it's just with or without us. The thing is, we're not out of it. You know, we are part of this consciousness. We are part of this universe. We are part of this planet. If we become water from tomorrow, we are already part of this circle. You know, if we become, I don't know, dogs or like butterfly, it's just part of this process of living. It's just in different forms. Nothing is being created, nothing really die. This is the thing that's stuck in my head, I think.
It's all contained within the earth, right?
In the earth, but more. I think we kind of connected in somehow, but not in a physical structure. We can go some, I think we
But it's the ocean, right? We're all connected via the ocean that is not just like the water, liquid ocean, but the air ocean, like around us.
For example, just to change a little bit the topic, because we were watching Hancock.
Oh, yeah. The Ancient Apocalypse.
Exactly. And,
great show.
And I like, guys, you have to watch it properly and really stick a little bit with that, because it's a bit particular.
It's kind of fun though, right? To think that something else may have happened and all the stories which are linked.
And very old, like very, very old. Like we never thought that they were living that old, and they were like building stuff underground. And
They're smarter than us.
And
You know, we have better
also-
technology, but they were smarter than us. Like,
And also, what they found is very much connected with the stars. And it's really cool how those population on like humans that lived at the time, not only to live and survive as we are like building our society of surviving and thinking about the future all the time, and really not paying much attention about something out there. And I think we should pay more attention to
Yeah.
something out there, because we are very connected, and I think we can create something, a bridge to.
I think so, but I also think like we are taught to be scared of everything, right? And like even like if there's extraterrestrials or whatever, like we have these images of these scary aliens and stuff. You know, they come here, abduct us, take us, and all this stuff. And like whether it's true or not, like why can't we be open to the good? You know, why can't we be open to the love and the kind of like the good intentions? Like someone is angry at you, like just have good faith that, you know, there's a reason behind it.
If we just think about infinite lifetime,
Yeah.
like infinite living beings or whatever, like there is no purpose of killing somebody else. There is no
Because they come
way.
back in the next life, right?
Yeah, they're not really fully gone, and they never. Yeah, they're always here all the time.
I guess the knowledge that they could have gained is lost, though, right?
Yeah.
So that's just whenever someone dies who is like of a like significant, like I don't know, they bring a lot to the world, you know, and it's sad when someone like that dies, because it's unless they've recorded it like we're able to now, and like or they used to with stories or something or songs, you know, it's a big loss to humanity, because like we can learn, we have to learn from each other. You know, we learn from,
And also we have to learn from the past.
Yeah.
We have to learn from those early songs that they are really connected, like in such a crazy and magical way, with nature, with the body. Also Egyptian, they were like doing those healing songs and with through the body to another body.
It's the vibration, right? Like you felt it when they had the bowl. Remember with the
the Tibetan bowl.
Yeah, and like I felt like maybe I was picturing it or whatever, but I felt the negative energy or whatever literally like flying away from me. They just walked around in a circle doing the sound, but wow, it felt incredible.
Clean.
I felt very super pure. Like a pure sound.
But they studying how vibration and those sounds that really can heal properly, because we are we are water. Like our body is how much?
70%.
70% of water. So water is very sensitive music, and it
Vibration.
moves and vibrates.
But everything does when you get down to the quantum level, right? Everything is like particles that are just like held together by I don't know I'm not sure how it works, but the fact is we are literally atoms held together. It's no wonder when something like interacts with those, it creates ripples, you know. And I don't know, I think
like healing journey for me, just for somebody that never start nothing about this, is just listen to some beautiful songs. Can be anything, but at least can have an harmony, and also like at least peaceful or loving words. Like peaceful, loving words, and just listen to it. Because I think with those sad songs, sometimes
it brings you down.
Bring to your energy too down, and sometimes you want that, and it's comfort, kind of in a way.
But also like crying releases.
Cry, just stick with that. Cry, give yourself that time, but move on that higher level of energy and really embrace love and really open yourself. Has like, I think when you crack yourself and cry, you're open. So it's important to really give good song energy treatments, you know, really
Just
love yourself.
imagery as well. Like, don't go through something that like opens you up like that and then go into your old habits of scrolling and seeing all this shit on social media where it puts you in a bad place again. It's like you're up here and then it brings you down. Like, I'm realizing how important all of this is, and like the cycle of like us being fed media that's not good for us, but even like the sound that's not good for us. Like we talk about vibration, and like I love aggressive music. You know, I love to like go down the gym or whatever and like release this energy and stuff. But I think it needs to be moderated in like do it for a bit, release the energy, have fun, you feel good, but then as I get older, I kind of get more bored quick. Like I get bored quicker with certain things. So if I listen to like aggressive music, I get bored of it after a while, and then I'm just like, okay, now I can park that up for a bit. But in the past, and I think you can get addicted to anything. Like we talk about addiction, but I think
you go into that hypnosis stage.
yeah, and the music especially, I think can perpetuate the kind of like energy that isn't always good. You know, there's a time and place for everything.
Energy levels.
Yeah.
So when you have low levels, you can, I like different kind of music as well, and I really enjoy different things, kind of to keep my creativity up.
But how good is music for creativity when you listen to something new? And I loved like just going on YouTube and like typing in like Mongolian singing or like some random shit that I've never listened to before, and then you listen to it and suddenly it like ignites my creativity. And I'm starting to like, even, especially if I close my eyes, I like start visualizing all this like crazy like fun shit, you know.
Yeah, I love that too.
And you find, I'm sure you found as well with the more traditional music, like move away from the electronic music, which is obviously with computers and not man-made, and move more into instrumental, not instrumental, but like music that's made with heart, with real instruments, with real singing from different parts of the world. And it just kind of wakes everything up. Like for me, it's like, it's very refreshing.
Yeah, it's very refreshing because they are grounded. And yes, that's kind of songs I like freak myself out. I was like, oh,
yeah, like what is
like,
this?
This is insane, beautiful. I'm like going inside motherhood with my full head, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like those new age songs are very fluffy, like in the air. So sometimes it's good. But sometimes I like to really listen to some weird stuff in that sense. Weird, beautiful stuff that ground me so into this, like, oh, those are my brothers and sisters. Like,
yeah, we're the same.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of, and also they have their way, I think, to describe kind of fighting or hunting.
It's
at
a
the
journey.
time. Yeah, the journey.
Yeah.
Their journey.
Yeah.
Through songs and sounds.
Who is it? Like we listened to someone recently, I'm gonna like add it to the description somewhere. I really like that band just because it like the hour-long video I watched, it's like there's songs that are up, there's songs that are down and very sad, but some songs just give you tons of energy as well, you know, and it's just this whole wave of different feelings, and it's great. It's like you go on a film, you know, you go on a little story, and I don't understand the lyrics or anything, but I kind of feel what they're trying to tell me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. With the rhythm, you can really, like, I listened to them, and I love the fact that they were like repeating kind of the beat of the horses, like running, and then kind of they're like singing with that beat, kind of I just felt the whole scenario where they were like going hunting or going, maybe moving, moving a new place, because
The nomadic kind
at
of.
the time was very normal to move for a different period of the year, just because for the animals or everything. And yeah, there is a lot of to learn in those.
So much to learn from
So
the
much to
tribes.
know.
And yeah, and I feel like in the West, like we love our technology. We love our medicine, the fact that we can take a pill, and you're stressed, you're depressed, you go to the doctor and they prescribe
Fix
you
you
something.
for the
They
next
fix
day.
you. But this is like, for me, the biggest issue with our culture is that we just mask the problems. We don't find the cause of the stress, the cause of what's actually happening, and face it. But the other thing is, no one wants to face it. No one, they want a quick solution.
Oh, because it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Dramatic.
You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable, and this is the thing where
And you're not beautiful in that madness. You just lose your whole shit.
crying, there's makeup everywhere. But we need to become mentally stronger. And I think for us to go to the next stage of our humanity, for us to like start working together and really like become, like reconnect ourselves back with the planet, essentially. Because the planet, like she spoke to me in the ceremony and she said like, I'm sad. The planet, the Earth, the mother is sad because she will still be here. She will be here forever, but we will not, and it's like the way we're going, she's sad for us because we are her children, we're her little conscious sensors that go around and learn for her, and we're killing ourselves basically. And it's like, I don't know, like it makes me sad, but it also makes me angry because I feel like, why are we such children? We're just breaking our toys because we're mad,
Yeah, that's like right now is very, very important. Not only to make the shit done, but really to calm down. Like really,
We have to.
we
Things are so
have to
fast right
calm
now.
down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Like happiness, as we think as happiness and parties and drinking and like calm the fuck down. I'm sorry for my Francesism, but it's really necessary to
But I think it's stress.
slow.
I think stress again brings this on with people, and they're reacting because they're stressed. So they drink, they party, they do stuff to procrastinate and take them kind
It's
of out
very
of.
bipolar.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
so
bipolar.
And it's not sustainable. You can't be this happy, this excited, without the equivalent sadness. And like my brother is the same. Like he has like strong bipolar, and for him, it's like some days he can't do anything, and then other days he's like up for everything. And it's just, it needs to be leveled off. And like prescribing medication is not the solution to this. You have to go deeper into what is the cause.
It's just putting a little wrap on something
Plaster.
major. It's not healing how we should. Like, I know that area very much, and I understand completely what you're talking about. And yeah, it's necessary to do different kind of work as a not only as an individual, is really as a communities.
We need to learn to play again with each other, and like.
And be there for each other, not only because you look good or you might be good for something that I need. It's really...
Yeah, take the transaction away and just do something because you want to do it, to be kind,
And also fully embrace the all emotions. Like if something come up as an emotion, or like instead of pushing it down, no, I'm gonna go and grab
I'm gonna have a drink.
Yeah, this is nothing. And you keep putting this emotion away. Have like is your body is telling you, oh, are you here? Because there is something's wrong in that area. And if you don't pay attention, it's
going
gonna
to
be
get bigger and bigger.
really,
We have
really
a
insane.
saying in English which is like a stitch in time saves nine. So fix the problem as soon as you see the problem, otherwise it's going to be much bigger. And I think this is where we're at with our society, where we've pushed the problems aside for so long. Oh, you know, it'll be okay, you know, global warming, all this stuff, like it's all gonna fix itself. And the truth is it's not, you know, like it's gonna get worse and worse. Not just global warming, but like our actions, you know, the way we're
Oh,
acting.
I think the truth that we live on, like we have to really center ourselves in what is the truth for me as a person. What I can be true for my partner, my friends, my family. How can I communicate with them in a very loving and truth way? And then everything start to open up, like all your experience of life become more joyful because other people want to communicate with you in a truth way as well, and not in a lying state that we live as well. Like even working for a company, like it's just not nice. A company is basically a community, and we have to treat our like people that we spend every like day and major hours with us, like in a very true way, because even though they are coming and go,
But I guess some people go to work because they have to just go to work, right? They don't want to make friends or build a community or anything.
but
They
at
just,
least the respect.
yeah. Yeah. But I find like we talked about like positivity and stuff before, but like if you go to a company and someone starts bitching at you about someone else, you don't want to be around that person that's doing the bitching because they're already showing you their hand of cards, you know, and you're like, I don't want to be like with you because you're probably going to bitch about me behind my back, you know. So it's very reflective. It's like a mirror, you know, like people come to you and they project, right? They project their own insecurities on you, and that's where anger and you know frustration comes
Yeah,
from.
that is important to speak the truth, but not hurting somebody while you're speaking the truth as well. It's a very delicate like way, but there is some ways where you can say your truth, but also
Well, it's
be direct.
truth with good
Kindness.
intentions and kindness, right? Like
Yeah.
if you say the truth to someone, not to hurt their feelings or like because they're pissing you off, but tell them because you want them to not have, like if the person has the same problem and they go to everybody with the same problem, you see that like everyone has the same response.
For example, what happened to the ceremony that weekend is this little guy, 20. He was
Yeah, he was like
20 to-
20s. No, he done like 20 ceremonies, but he was only like 19.
Yeah, 19 years old. It
Dad
was,
started when he was 15.
yeah, was magical to see how they were both there and they were doing this journey together. And he was really aware on a lot of stuff already. But for example, I think he had his own journey where
But he's Iranian, right? So like, give him the due. Like they're all having a rough time because of everything that's happening in their country.
yeah, there is
Which
a lot.
which I would just like to say like full support for the Iranian people because what they're doing now is really hard. Like to change the rules and the government.
And a lot of like couple of 2 or 3 Iranian women. Wow, the energy of the room was amazing.
Yeah.
To see that, yeah, one of them, she cut her hair just because of that, and
They're strong people.
also see the love between the two, like a couple. They went through already a lot together, and they want to do that for themselves, but also yes, very much for to be there together. And I don't know, that touched me profoundly. And
Such kind people as well. Like I swear to God, like every Iranian I've met in Australia has been. I never met any Iranian before I come to Australia.
I never met him before
No,
either.
but for me, like everyone I met has been awesome. You know, like really fun to be around, kind, friendly people, beautiful people. You know,
Smart.
and I remember like the day after the ceremony, the girl ran up to me and gave me a hug from behind, and I was just like, "What is going on?" You know, like, "Whoa, who's touching me?" You know, and I just met her, but like it was, they're so open with their hearts, you know, and that's why I think it's even harder now to see what's going on because they don't deserve it. You know, let them be free. Like let
But I
them.
was talking about this guy. Was of course he's younger than me.
Ah, yeah. Let's go back.
And so the first night that I went through my journey, I had such an amazing time. And I didn't know him very well, but I like after a little while, I get to know him, like you get to know him more. And you told me that he was like very pessimist and maybe not really aware fully. Like he knows so many things that he is
Yeah.
not really in the same level as their generation.
Yeah, he said it was very lonely because obviously the kind of awakening that he's had, all the kids around him, like imagine yourself at 19, like if I was a little shit. And like I said to him, it's like you and me are equals. Like I'm older than you, but as men, we are equal, you know? And it must be hard to experience something because
So
it's
he
also like,
was,
do you
yeah.
wanna, like the Matrix, right, with the blue and the red pill, like, do you wanna see the reality or do you wanna enjoy the Matrix for a bit longer? You know, when is the right time to have this like understanding? Because it's hard.
It's hard because you're out of that bubble.
Yeah, you're out of whack with most other people and you see it as well. Like you're so open to what's all the different people. Like I feel like I can not judge, I can understand people much quicker. And it's a bit, I don't know, getting used to it.
But
Back to the kid, sorry.
so
The man, sorry, he's a man, right?
he's a man.
He's a man.
He's a little man.
A little man, young man.
He's a young man. So I was having my beautiful, amazing journey, and that night he was very depressed and everything.
negative.
Very, very negative. He went so many sessions and he couldn't
Felt
really
disappointed, frustrated, right?
frustrated. Yeah. So when I was having my beautiful time and he came close and we were like sitting chatting and he came with this negative energy and I was such in a good space where
Just gonna turn that. So carry on.
thank you. I was having such a good journey and he like open up with this negativity. I was
Brought you
like,
down.
no, I was very aggressive. I was like, sorry, can you go away? And I just, because when you're like in those states, you feel everything very much. So I couldn't really control myself and said it in a
You're like
loving
a
way.
cat, like swiping.
Yeah, I was like, go away. And I literally told him to go.
You're
And
like it sort of moved, and then you're like, no, go further. I was like, oh my days.
yeah, like I don't want to see you right now. But the next day, I just wanted, and I felt the need to share it with everybody in the circle. So we went this weekend for a couple of days, and then every night, like after the journey and meditation, we had to sit down and, express and talk about each one of us their journey. And I just felt the need to say publicly in this circle that I feel sorry, just because
Instead of
the
just like
way.
complaining and like sort of keeping it to yourself, sometimes people need to hear the truth. You know, they need to hear like why you reacted a certain way. It's not
Yeah.
because you're being nasty to them.
And
There's a
also
reasoning.
publicly.
Yeah.
Is also because a community is your family. And I felt very much that that community, even though I didn't know many people around there, I just felt the necessity to share it as a part of this. And I think globally we don't understand how important to share like global problems, but global, winning and good timing. It's important to really share in your communities, in your town, in your family, open up the problems. And we are
'Cause then you can
very
deal
much,
with it.
yeah, we are very much, oh, this is my own shit.
This is our ego, right, though. It's our pride. We don't want to be seen as having issues. So you see everyone
Yeah.
on, like, just
Or
quickly.
weak.
A week, exactly. You see everyone on social media and everyone's got like the perfect lives and everything's great because no one wants to show, they're having a hard time. And okay, maybe more recently you get girls, I say
Not
girls.
once in a while.
Once in a while,
They say,
but they open up about their troubles. And I think for people it's hard to hear sometimes and they don't like it because it's that like...
I want a good time. I want
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
something good.
Exactly, and life's not all good, life's not all beautiful. Sometimes there's some fucking horrible things in there, and that's just the reality is like it's the dark and the light.
Yeah, for example, Aubrey Marcus, he was sharing that one of his friends, suicidal, like he killed himself. And
She, wasn't it? I know, anyway, carry on.
yeah, but the fact that a person in his position where he's doing so much work on himself and helping so much, trying to help as much as possible, you can't really, help in that way. It's everybody's responsibility to look after themselves, and listen to that and share it and do their own work. But that is a very
Well, I think there's a fine
topic.
line between people opening up and talking to you about something they want help with and other people just complaining about something where they don't want to help themselves. They just want someone to listen to them complain. And then when you offer advice, they shut off because they don't want to hear it. That I'm not interested in because for me, it's like you're wasting my time as well because this is a two-way
That's
street.
very narcissist
behavior.
behavior.
Yeah, exactly. It's like but you see with people like when they're looking at you and they're talking to you and they're just waiting for their time to say their piece. They don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
But that's the funny thing, when you're awake, you can like...
Yeah, you see a mile off.
Yeah, you
You see,
find them.
for me, it's people's eyes. Like I can see in people's eyes, they have the three whites, right? The Japanese thing, Sanduka, I can't remember what it's called. But essentially it's crazy eyes. And you can see in people when they're looking through you. And I don't know. It's only because I've had to deal with it a few times now that I'm kind of noticing the similarities. And I'm like, whoa, there's something there. There is literally something in the crazy eyes.
But coming back to the guy, the little boy.
Okay, right.
So when I like open up what happened the night before, I just felt that he was kind of listening. I think in his core, he wanted me to share and make it public. Oh, you did something bad, and I just want to know. I just want to see how good you are. You're gonna keep this on yourself or you're gonna share it. And I just felt that I wanted to share. And the next day when we went to, when we went to another meditation journey, he had such a great time. I don't know, something cracked.
Yeah, he looked much happier the next day. I
It
remember
was
him
more
storming
open.
out as well. Do during the ceremony, like he was angry, like loud footsteps, boom, 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 boom. And I think he was upset as well. So whatever he had inside, I think he
Start to face in it.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw the difference in him the next day. Like, yeah, we had a really good chat. Yeah, I think with this sort of stuff, it's like if you have an idea, like this is what it is, it's not going to work. And this is where I'm like, there's something else going on here, because it comes to you when you're ready. You know, it's like you will see things and go on experience, but you won't really get the understanding until you completely open yourself, you're accepting of whatever you feel with no premeditated idea.
And we don't give enough credit, I think, for the community. Because, for example, in that scenario, in that ceremony, we had our little community. And everybody had their story, but everybody had different reaction to each other. You know, their different reaction to their stories. Oh, you should do this, or I can give you that advice, or oh, you know,
afterwards
like
you came together.
Yeah, those reaction is, I think, is also consciousness talking with each other and kind of adjust to each other. That's why if we stick just being alone, we're not going much further.
Yeah.
That's why it's necessary to travel sometimes, to connect with people, to really open up and ask those secrets or taboo question to your parents.
Because you both learn.
Because you kind of adjust. I think that's collective knowledge or awareness, and we are part of, want to adjust itself, want to grow, want to live longer, want to heal.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something to it. No, I'm just like trying to, because there's so much information, you know, you're still processing and then you remember stuff and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, that it's magical.
Yeah.
But it's intense.
It's intense, but I think what I found as well was like, I feel like we were all tapped into the same kind of consciousness in that, like, not telepathy, right? I don't know if that exists. Maybe it does, because sometimes people know exactly what you're thinking, you know, and it's, if you know the person well, you're kind of both on the same wavelength. But I felt very much at the ceremony, they were playing the song and the music is what connected everybody. And then it took us all into a similar place. And you noticed it was all very quiet at the same time. And everyone, like someone would laugh, like you would laugh or something, and then someone else would laugh. And then I was wanting to laugh as well. So like we all had this like shared moment. And I guarantee like everybody there, we were all so in sync, it was crazy, you know? And I think like dance and things like that can put us in this place of synchronicity in our minds. But so cool what humans are capable of, you know? And I think we're still, we
And singing.
And
Like
singing,
I loved it singing this time.
Yeah.
And I was like high as fuck. I was so high. I was like between some stars and galaxies somewhere. And then I was like singing.
Maria, it's your time to sing.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you did a great job. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And yeah, like having this medicine, this magical power to really connect into yourself, into your heart and cells, and also beyond is.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm so grateful that I had the possibility to access this.
Yeah, I also feel we feel like everything's done, you know, and I had this like thought before, it was like, I feel like we've got to a point now where we know everything, there's no magic, we understand how the world works, you know, we've got so
This
small.
is what you felt before.
Yeah, we've got so small in that our tools and technology can see the fucking atoms, you know, the individual atoms and stuff, and it's like we feel like we're so advanced. but the reality is, like, I feel like we're just at the start. You know, we know fuck
There
all.
is so
Yeah,
many
like everything you
things.
look at is like, how does that work? You know, like, and then you go there and like, not just like things, but like animals. I feel like we've got so much we can learn from individual animals, and like, I don't know, I'm just fascinated by everything, and even the sounds. You know, like,
And also there is this information. If you guys had the possibility, or from a dream, as we mentioned with Will, but also in real life, if some animals appear or get close to you, or you kind of have a little interaction, just type it online and write like animal symbols in a
Yeah.
dream or something, and it's really cool to read about that too, because
'cause
there
this
is
is
kind
old.
of a messages.
Yeah, like I find with stuff like this, people can be like, yeah, but like anyone can write some shit about an animal and put it online. But I think when you actually research and you see the similarities in the different cultures, you know, and you start seeing like the older
Even the trees,
understandings.
even plants. Now that I'm drawing a lot, and also because I'm building my website with all my paintings and flowers, I search all the meanings of the flowers, and it's really cool how those meanings came in that period when I was drawing them,
Yeah.
and how that I mix it together, and they kind of tell me a story just for me right now, because I made them, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's up to you if
Funny
you
how
want to
you thought
believe
that
it
was
or not.
random, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna paint a flower. So you took some pictures of flowers and you paint some random flowers. But
Yeah.
then when you start looking at what the flowers mean and like what they are, like then it starts making sense to you. And people could say, oh, but your brain is just connecting the dots to the patterns. Yeah, but then look at like how unlikely, you know, you could have picked any flower, but that specific flower to you
In that very moment.
in that moment, I don't know. I think nothing is random. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I think everything is connected. Nothing is random, and like, there's comfort for me in that. That, you know, like whatever decision I make is the right decision. Whatever I do,
You're never alone.
yeah,
You're always with something or some, like you're part of this major law that is working like with you, through you, if you believe it or not. You know, if you, like, you're in this massive wave of life, and you have the ability to swim or to surf on it.
or to just to fucking drown. No, but that's what a lot of people choose to do. They want to just drown and kill themselves, and their
Yeah.
bodies react
Yeah.
in that manner. You know, like the subconscious is like the body's killing itself. You know, we talk about stress. You know, it's like the obesity, the mental health, all this stuff, which it's self-inflicted in a way. You know, the environment puts us in a place which creates fear and stress, but then it's how we choose to deal with that, and it's also how to remove yourself from the stress. You know, like if you're
Not only remove it from that, because I think we're capable of holding everything. Like we are very, very powerful, but we don't have to work it harder or like make it as incredible as it's supposed to be. I think we should just really listen to ourselves, but also embrace whatever we want to make for ourselves. And it's very hard to not step in fear, but it's also, I think fear is part of our way, because we not listen. We shouldn't listen. We shouldn't see with our eyes, but see with our heart, and that's we always show a way. Fear comes for our ego,
it's the
from
mental
our
trying to make
eyes.
sense of things, right? It's like
Yeah.
trying to understand. Yeah, that I had the same. Literally, me and one of the Iranian girls had the same experience. Like, we had so many questions and so much information being downloaded to us that we were both like passing out, coming back, passing out, coming back. And we said the next day, like, there was just so much happening, and I was trying to understand each piece, and I was like, oh, so this is happening because of this is happening because of this, gone. And then you come back, so this, and I was trying to make sense of everything, and it was impossible because the download was happening so quick that I couldn't keep up. Like, my brain literally couldn't keep up with what was happening. And this other girl, she had the exact same experience. So there's something in that. I don't, like, yeah, it was amazing. Like, yeah, very interesting as well, you know, just to see there's definitely something more. I think maybe let's wrap this up unless there's anything else you want to mention.
Oh, there is so many things. Maybe we're gonna talk about this another time as well, because we're still processing. But I just have a little flash of one of the girls that were there, and she basically in her journey, like, stand up and went out of the circle.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, what you're about to say, I know. I was already thinking it before you started saying it. Like, we're in the fucking... Anyway, sorry, continue.
And then she walked outside, and it was a beautiful night with a lot of stars and the moon. And then she felt the urge to really put her head, like her forehead to the tree. And she felt like this connection between, like, she couldn't really see or feel completely where her head finished and the tree started. So, and also she felt all the negativity, like, drain from her brain out.
Well, trees, they do. And she said afterwards she felt like that tree was like, we're friends now, right? And there was a guy that came out before her who did exactly the same thing and said, I became friends with that tree. And she said, me too, you know?
No way.
Seriously, like, so strange.
So beautiful.
But it's funny because, like, now I want to go do that, you know? And like, we walked in the street and, like, we wanted to do it, but there's people everywhere looking, you know? There's fucking cameras and stuff everywhere. So you don't want to be this weirdo that's, like, got your head against the tree. But it's like...
it has to be more natural, more...
Yeah. Like... But even when you go for a hike, you know, you go for, like, one of these well-trodden paths and there's people everywhere. So it's nice to, like, really go...
Be alone.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited for Christmas, because we're just going to go to the middle of nowhere on the lake.
We're going to make some couple of episodes there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome. But...
On Christmas, alone in the bush.
Some camping, catch some fish, do some eating. I think that's probably going to wrap it up. So thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Thank you for watching.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I did, you know, it's been a really good chat. Like, I guess just saying things out loud as well is helpful to, like, make sense of things as well, you know, because you have this, like, jumble of information and then...
And also, it's easier for us to share with our friends and family.
Yeah, because you don't want to keep repeating yourself. You know, you want to say it good once, but then after that, you're just like, yeah, this happened. You know, and that's it, it's done. So, yeah, it's actually been helpful for us. So, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Have a great Christmas.
I'm gonna send you a lot of love and wishes for this next year coming up. And yeah.
2023 is going to be a great year.
Wow.
It's going to be an amazing year.
Epic.
Brilliant. I recommend